Hello everyone, I'd like to give you a very warm welcome to our Rumbline sailing tutorial. My name is Kai Biermann. I'm a certified meteorologist and have been with the German Weather Service for 25 years. My main tasks include the training of sailors, water sports enthusiasts of all kinds, the preparation for sailing trips, and then accompanying them out at sea. The title of our tutorial today is an Atlantic crossing from west to east, that is, from the Antilles via the Azores to Europe. It is important to ensure that the right decisions are made from the start and that mistakes are avoided. A good decision is to start this journey in the northern spring, approximately in the period from April to May, specifically when the Azores High is in its proper place, extending from the Azores all the way to the east coast of America, and we can therefore also expect the right winds, provided we are located or we first sail onto the northern flank of this high and then have reaching winds to the Azores. Also important is low sea state, as low a sea state as possible. We don't need any incoming long swell, for example, from developing lows north of this high pressure zone. What we should avoid in any case is high seas, which are produced by the back of a low pressure system, for example, which can develop on the northern flank of this high pressure in the northern North Atlantic, and then on its backside transports high seas into the cruising area, which then inevitably hinders our trip because we get seasick. It's never the wind that makes us seasick, but it's always the swell. And if we then have a cross sea, then the whole thing becomes very, very unpleasant and the trip becomes long. Usually we sail on the route in the area of the Gulf Stream, which can, yes, sometimes actually push us with 3.5 to 4 knots. And we should make sure that this also works, that we always stay in this area, so that of course our speed is significantly increased. And so we should be able to make a landing relatively quickly to the Azores, and then later on to Europe, wherever you want to go, whether you want to go to the Mediterranean via Madeira, for example, or directly into the English Channel. You just have to see then. So, and if we now imagine what the normal situation, the meteorological situation is on the Atlantic when we set off from the Antilles, the high pressure area appears, as already mentioned, namely from the Azores, which might be, let's say here, the Azores and our Antilles down here. It is of crucial importance that the first and most important decision is made now, namely to reach the northern flank of the high pressure area. That is where the winds blow in this direction, right? And not here in the center where we have no wind at all. And I mean literally no wind whatsoever. Many sailors have already starved here in a certain sense. For us as Atlantic sailors, this means when we start in the Antilles, we first have to make northing, that is, gain latitude to reach the northern flank of this high. We must not make the mistake of saying, that's too far for me, I'll turn off earlier. That will really come back to haunt you. So we need a certain latitude exactly where the high pressure area is located. And for that, of course, we need a good forecast. Where will the high be in 4 days, for example, while I'm setting off? Because a high, it's gas, it moves, it wafts, it drifts away, it comes back. So it's a very dynamic process, and for that I need very, very good forecasts. So I'm moving towards the north. In inland America, I can do that through the intracoastal waterway. Not every sailor can fit through there, though. That is also a possibility, depending on where I am. If I'm in Florida, then the route might be a bit shorter through the intracoastal waterway. Otherwise, the direct route to the north. Once I've joined in and the wind has actually turned to the southwest, later west, up here in the northern area, lows will, of course, continue to bustle about, and I have to keep an eye on those too, of course. And I mentioned at the beginning that on the back, yes, of these lows, significant sea state can arise and have an influence on on my course. So if I'm able to sail far enough north that I've joined this northern flank flow of the high, I'm actually safe until the Azores, which are around here, and I'll be taking a break here anyway before continuing towards Europe. But this is of crucial importance. It only counts, of course, if the conditions are optimal, if the high is in the right place. Unlike right now, this high is unfortunately not in place, and we're dealing with two high pressure bubbles that are located about here, and one is about here, and in between lies the low. And then you have to develop completely new strategies. That has nothing to do with it then.
Quite typical for a 25th of March, we see a pressure distribution here consisting of two highs, one off the east coast of the USA and another northeast of the Azores. Together they produce light easterly winds for our sea area in the Antilles, which are actually quite suitable for heading north. So with a beam wind, to make up some latitude to then hope that you reach a then developing northern flank of a high, and then, as just described, can start the journey to the east. At the same time, we see a low development, storm low development east of Newfoundland with swell, with large swell components. And here the sea state will certainly not be below 8 meters in that area. It will then weaken to the south, but this sea state will definitely later be able to influence the cruising area as well.
So if you need help, feel free to visit my website, www.rumbline-sailing.com. Here you'll find all the information you need. When I route you, I'll need various pieces of information. For example, I first need to know about the ship. What kind of ship do you have? When is the planned start date? Where do you actually want to go? And then you'll get all the necessary information from me, the optimized start date, the optimal waypoints, and the shortest route and the best way to reach your destination. Now, briefly for the details. So it works like this. Every day, let's say at 12 UTC, you report your location to me, your wind conditions, your sea conditions, also the cloud patterns if you like. And then a bit later, you'll receive from me a 3-day forecast with wind direction and strength, with current, with wave heights, so separated into wind, sea, and swell. Then, of course, all relevant warnings in the sea area. Then the note, does it all still fit? Does it look good with the waypoints, or do we need to reorient ourselves? And so on and so forth. That way we're in contact every day, and your observations simply help me to keep improving the forecast. Squalls are also part of it, of course. The squalls are part of the North Atlantic at any time. The squalls can occur at any time of year. Unfortunately, these squalls, these violent cold air outbreaks from above, are very harmful for the sailor sometimes if you don't expect them. But unfortunately, they're also not predictable. That's why it's very, very important to keep that in mind constantly, that it can happen. So I wish you all the very, very best. Have a good trip. And I would really be very happy to see or hear from one or another of you again sometime.